All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for being here, gathered in our Murray Davis courtyard here at Temple Beth Abraham. Those who are here in person and those who are watching on YouTube and Facebook. We have some experimenting going on in terms of the stream, multi-cameras and things that we've not done before. And you're welcome to give your feedback to Josh on those things, or to me, and I'll give it to him. A few reminders. You can, if you sing, you should do so that your neighbor really can't hear you. So sort of under your breath, into your mask. But if you want to do that, quietly, certainly that shouldn't be a problem. We are outdoors, and most, if not all of you, are vaccinated. So anyway, great to, but still we're not permitted to sing out loud, and at least theoretically. But if we take it to the U.S. Supreme Court, they'll permit it, I can almost guarantee you. But for now, all right. Is there another two-seater for you two, or do we have to add a chair? Did I miscalculate? Oh, you got it, okay. All right, I'm just welcoming our last couple. Only singles left today, maybe. Oh yeah, actually, Laurie, yeah, you're in a double, so yeah. So sorry if you don't know what I'm talking about, those who I've, who are watching. But anyway, we're going to begin. Page one. Yedid Nefesh, the additional soul on Shabbat. Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Yedid Nefesh Avarachaman, Mishoch Avdecha El Ritzonecha, Mishoch Avdecha Ya la 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 El Ritzonecha Yarut Avdecha Kemo Aya Ishtachavei Elai Ya la 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 El Mul Hadarecha. The second week I've had my friend the bee or the wasp joining me for services. I could make a bad joke about conversion, but I'll just leave it at that. Okay. We're going to go to page 5. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash, Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz, Shiru l'Adonai barechu shemo, basru miyom leyom yeshuato, safru v'goyim kevodo, v'chol ha'amim niflotav, ki gadol Adonai, umhulal me'od. Norahu al kol Elohim, ay nay ki kol Elohe ha'amim elilim, va'Adonai shamayim asa hod v'hadar le'efanav oz v'tiferet b'mikdasho. Havu l'Adonai mishpechot amim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, havu l'Adonai Kevod Shemo, Tzeu Mincha, Uvo Lechatrotav, ay nay, Hishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, Chilu mipanav haaretz, Imru v'goyim Adonai malach, Aftikon tevel baltimot, Yadin amim v'mesharim, Yischu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz, Yiram hayam umelo ya'alo sadai v'chol asher bo ay nay ziranenu kol hatzeyar lifnei Adonai kiva lishpot haaretz yishpot tevel b'tzedek ve'amim ve'emunato. Ay nai nai nai, ay nai 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 nai, ay nai nai, ay nai nai nai, ay nai nai nai, ay nai nai nai. I'm going to go to page 8. Or zarua lat tzaddik. Light is sown for the righteous. We used to sing this song a lot at Camp Swig, which later became Camp Newman, which I know is very special to Hannah Rubin, whose yahrzeit is tonight. I'll have more to say about that a little bit later, but this is the song that reminds me of that place. Light is sown for the righteous. Or zarua lat tzaddik. O Yishrei lev simcha, or zarua lat tzaddik. O Yishrei lev simcha, or zarua lat tzaddik. O Yishrei lev simcha, O Yishrei lev simcha, or zarua lat tzaddik. O Yishrei lev simcha, O Yishrei lev simcha. All right, we turn now all the way to page 13. Page 13, Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu l'Adonai bnei Elim, Havu l'Adonai. Kavod va'oz, ay ay nay, havul Adonai, kevod shemo ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai, al hamayim el hakavod yirim, Adonai, al mayim rabim, kol Adonai, ba'koach, ay ay nay, kol Adonai, Be'adar kol Adonai shove arazim v'shaber Adonai et arzei halvanon v'yarkirem kemo egel Lebanon ve'esirion kemo ven re'emim ay ay nay kol Adonai chotev lavot esh kol Adonai yachil midbar Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh kol Adonai yechol el ayalot vayechesof ye'arot uv'hechalot kulo omer kavod ay ay nay Adonai lama buyashav yeshev Adonai melech leolam Adonai oz Le'amo yiten Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. Hey, yai, yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, nai, nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, 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 nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. Yai, nai, 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 nai. All right. We turn to Lecha Dodi, page 15. Lecha, lecha Dodi, likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha, lecha Dodi, likrat kala, panei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Hishmi'anu el hamiyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shemo tiferet v'li la 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 lecha lecha Dodi. Likrat kala. Panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Panei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki imekor ha'beracha me rosh mikedem nesucha so ma'aseh b'machshava tchila la 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 lecha lecha Dodi likrat kala Panei panei Shabbat nekabela. Halechat dodi likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nekabela. Bottom of 17. Yaminu small tifrotzi. Ve'et Adonai taritzi. Aliyat ish ben partzi. V'nismecha v'nagila la 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 lecha lecha dodi likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nekabela. We rise and face the entrance, welcoming our Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala. Gam besimcha uvetzola, toch emune am segula. Boi kala, boi kala. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi, likrat kala. Panei panei Shabbat nekabela. And we say to any mourners in our midst, Hamakom Menachem Etchem, B'tok Shavei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. May God comfort you with all the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. We may be seated. Page 19. Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, tov lehodot leAdonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. Zamer leshimcha elyon, lehagi baboker chasdecha, ve'emunatcha balelot, ale asor ve'ale navel, ale higayon vechinor. Mizmor shir Yom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot leAdonai, ulezamer leshimcha elyon, ulezamer leshimcha elyon. We continue silently, 19 and 20. Tzadika tamar yifrach, kerez balvanon yisgeh, shetulim bevet Adonai bechatrot, Eloheinu yafrichu, od yenuvun beseva. Deshenim v'ra'ananim yihu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlata bo. Adonai malach lavesh Adonai ositazar afti kon tever ba'otimo nachon kisacha me'az mlamata nasu nerot Adonai nasu nerot kolam yisu nerot och yam mi kolot ma'im rabim adirim mishbereyam adir bamarom Adonai erotecha ne'emnu me'od levetecha nava kodesh Adonai leorech yamim. We rise for the formal call to prayer, the Baruch Hu. Yalla la la la, 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 yalla la la la. Baruch Hu et Adonai hamevorach, Baruch Adonai hamevorach. Leolam va'ed, לעולם ועד. יאללה לי לי לי, 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 יאללה לי לי לי. Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed. We may be seated. Page 23. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. 24. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavita Amcha ahavita Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadita, Otanu limadita. Al kain Adonai Eloheinu b'shochbenu, v'kumeinu neseach b'chukecha, v'nismak b'divrei Toratecha, uv'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Im chayenu be'orech yameinu uvahem nege yomam v'layla nege yomam v'layla be'vatecha al tasir mimeinu le'olamim Baruch Atah Adonai Ohev Amo Yisrael Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 25. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavecha, v'chol nafshecha, v'chol me'odecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha, hayom alevavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta ba'am, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, Uv'shokbecha, uv'kumecha, u'kshartam leot al yadecha, ve'ayu letotafot beinenecha, u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, u'visharecha vayam. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. page 32. Malchut Tobratzum Kubalehem, Moshe V'nei Israel, Chanukah Rabbi Simcha Rabba, Ve'amru Chulam. Micha, yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, nora tehilot, hoseh feleh, nora tehilot, hoseh feleh, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Bachutecha ra'u banecha, bokeh hayam lifnei Moshe. Ze eli anu ve'ameru, ze eli anu ve'ameru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. V'nemarki v'nayad Yaakov, Glomer Chazak mimenu, Baruch Ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. 33. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'chahamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'chahamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ushmor tziteinu, uvoenu, lechaim u'shalom, me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'chahamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'chahamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Frosalenu Sukkot Shlomecha, Baruch Atah Adonai, Haparei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu, V'al Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. Please rise for V'shamru. V'shamru V'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, La'asot et HaShabbat, L'dorotam Berit Olam. V'ni v'mid Yisrael, Oti Le'olam. Oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, L'dorotam berit olam. Good clapping for those who do it. Appreciate it. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et HaShamayim ve'et ha'aretz ve'shamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, L'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash ve'shamru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat, L'dorotam berit olam. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, Bilma tifrach chirute ve'amlich malchute v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uv'zman kariv imeru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam le'almei almaya yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itpar v'irman v'naseh v'itadar v'itale v'talal shmei kudsha barichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiran be'alma v'imeru. Amen. Private Amidah, pages 37 through 48. So for those, if you notice I face this way, that plant sort of in between the wall and the fountain is Jerusalem is east. Ose shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו amen. Page 53. יקרא ויקרא שמי רבה, ועמד יברח חירותי והמליך מלכותי בחיי חורף יום אחד וחי לכל בית ישראל, פגע בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויפאר וירם וינשא, ותדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו, לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחת ונחמתה דם ירם ימה ואמרו אמן. תקבל סרטון אבותון לכל ישראל, קורם אבותון די וישמעיה ואמרו אמן. יש שם רב מן שמעיה וחיים ללוי על כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו amen. I'm going to turn to page 273 for the... Actually, I'll wait to count the Omer first. I'll talk about the president, not President Joe Biden, but President Chester A. Arthur. I know you've all been waiting for that one. For those who are not familiar, every week on Friday nights this year, starting at the beginning, I'm taking a different president of the United States and talking about a little bit about them, mostly about the relationship to the Jewish community in order. We're up to the very uneventful when it comes to the Jewish community, Chester Arthur. He was very much president by accident. He was born in Vermont, was raised in the Episcopal Church. He was a surprise president for several reasons. First, he was a vice president who was on the ticket mostly so they could get the New York electoral votes. And the president, James Garfield, was assassinated, so he took over. He was especially surprising because it wasn't like they took New York's leading senator or governor. He had never held elected office at all. He was a kind of behind-the-scenes power politician known as gentleman boss, associated with the corrupt Conkling political machine. But he turned out to be a highly honest and somewhat effective president, despite, as was pointed out to me tonight, he actually was the president when the Chinese Exclusion Act was brought into being. You know, the buck always stops here, as another president, Harry Truman, said, but nevertheless, it was not necessarily his pet project. But it did happen. He had almost, well, let me tell you what he did do well, which was, he was very fiscally responsible, and he didn't, you know, and highly ethical about how money was spent. And despite the fact that he made his, you know, he made his living before being president in political patronage and doing favors, and he instead totally reformed civil service. And much to the chagrin of all the people who had supported him, he did not appoint them to significant office. He really reformed it completely and established this merit-based system. How about his Jewish contact? Very little. Basically, he knew a little and not nearly as well as his predecessors, the same Jews that, you know, the 3 or 4 presidents before him knew. And that was Simon Wolf, the Washington, D.C. Attorney General, who had, last week, we learned, was appointed as the consul to Egypt by Garfield the day before he was assassinated, and Garfield loved that. He loved appointing a Jew to Egypt because he was a lover of the Bible and, you know, the whole reverse redemption. He just thought that was amazing. So he knew Simon Wolf, who eventually finished his post, and he came in often to discuss matters of importance to the Jewish people, according to a book that Simon Wolf wrote himself, his own memoirs, which were published. Simon Wolf said he became close to Arthur, giving him advice. He also knew Adolph Solomons, who was the guy who planned every inauguration from Lincoln to Taft, one of the founders of the American Red Cross. Arthur appointed him as a delegate to the Geneva Conference and the International Red Cross. The Geneva Conference established the Geneva Treaty, which eventually became the Geneva Convention, the rules that we have governing human rights and war and the like. About the only thing he did for the Jewish community that was more abundant than any of his predecessors is he had appointed a whole bunch of Jewish candidates to the West Point and Annapolis, to the military academies. I mean, that's what the books say. I don't really know how many. Maybe now it was 4 instead of 2. I honestly have no idea whether, but he was given credit by some of the Jewish experts. He died in New York a year after he served as president. And that's pretty much all I got. Not a whole lot of Chester A. Arthur. We'll see if Grover Cleveland will provide us more fruitful information. And since he was president twice and was the only president to have been reelected after losing, maybe he's going to be interesting. We're gonna find out. Haven't really looked up his Jewish history yet. Chester Arthur. Okay. Baruch T.A. Yeah, that's wasn't one of the more exciting ones. He wasn't Abraham Lincoln. All right. We are going to now count the Omer. We will find that on page 273. Turns out that today was the Chai day of the Omer, and so we're counting the next one to not. Wait, no, I'm wrong. Sorry. No. Yesterday was the day after Chai. We're counting the next one after that. Okay. So my apologies for that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Hayom 20 yom shehem shnei shavuot v'shisha yamim la'omer. Tonight begins the 20th day of the Omer, the time between Passover and Shavuot, where we are waiting as a people to receive the Torah. We've been redeemed from Egypt, but we don't have any guidance yet. Also an anxious time for ancient farmers. Please rise for the Aleinu, page 320. No, sorry, wrong page. That's a different book. Okay, page 57. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol la'tet gedula le'otzer v'reshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot v'lo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim ve'yoser haaretz umoshev yikaro b'shamayim mima'al Ushchinat uzo, begov emiromim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu efes zulato, kakatu v'torato, v'yadata ayom v'hashevota, elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, v'ha'aretz mitachad. Einod, al kenekav v'lechavim. Kakatu v'toratech Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed v'ne'emar v'chaya Adonai le'melech al kol ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We may be seated. I'm going to be reading a list of names of those whose yortzites, the anniversary of the deaths, occur at this coming week in years past. Many of you are here for yortzeit tonight, I see. I want to mention 2 names. I'm going to read them again in the list. Last year at this time was a very, very sad week for the congregation, for me personally, but of course, most of all, for the beloved of those who passed away. Both incredibly sad, one because of how much she gave to the world, and it was gone. The other because she had so much to give to the world, which would never be achieved. Shirley Silver, the mother of Cheryl, who is here tonight, was an incredible woman, just filled with kindness and love and joy and pep and beauty, and just an incredible person. And although it was expected, it was tremendously sad. We were all worried about the pandemic and COVID, and we had these 2 deaths, which had nothing to do with them, nothing to do with COVID, but intensified the sadness as well as the complexity with how we were going to conduct the funerals and the shivas. And we were just learning how to do these things. The other one was Hannah Rubin, whose parents, Joan and Rick, are here with us tonight, as well as some friends. 20 years old, a classmate of my own son, Micah, confirmation, B'nai Mitzvah class. Wonderful, beautiful, vivacious, although at the same time shy. Those who know her know exactly what I'm talking about. And just a great young woman with her whole life ahead of her from a rare form of leukemia. Just incredibly sad, and I know it comes with the territory with being a rabbi, but this was truly one of the saddest and most difficult funerals I've ever conducted. Of course, for you, the family, but of course, all the more real to me since I have a son the same age. So we just hold each other a little tighter and express thanks for all those who we benefited from knowing while they walked this earth. So we're thinking especially tonight of Herman Adler, Janet Bleckner, Harry Broff, Jeanette Essrig, Bernard Fogel, Bernard Freemark, Henry Isaac Friendly, Ida Gevirtz, Al Gjovig, Anna Gurman, Hannah Herfield, Thomas Hoffman, Anna Cass, William Klinger, Solomon Clore, Leah Lampert, Harry Laserwitz, Ella Morrison, Benjamin Paul, Benjamin Ramo, Linda B. Rosenthal, Gittel Rothblatt, Hannah Rubin, Jane Saunders, Otto Schweid, Abraham Shapiro, Shirley Silver, Faye Young. We are in the Shloshim for Lou Shotland, the father of Marv Shotland, and John Alswang, the father of Eden Brunner. The memories have all been with us. We ask all those who are in mourning or observing your site, please join me in the Mourner's Kaddish, and anyone else who wishes to as well. It's on page 61. Yit Gadal, V'yit Kadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'alma Divrach Yeruteh, V'amlich Malchuteh, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chayedechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala V'izman Kari, V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Leolam Lalmei Almaya, Yitbarach V'ishtabach, V'yitpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnas'eh, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudsha Barichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimroma, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may the memory of these people be a blessing to you always. And let us say amen. All right, some announcements. Tomorrow will be the last, hopefully, provided there's no backsliding, stream-only service from the sanctuary with Hazanit Yael and myself. We'll be there, just the two of us tomorrow. Then there's Shabbat Mishpacha, in case you were watching, and you'll have the Zoom link for that or you don't, but look around for it, check your email. It's in there somewhere, most likely. This Thursday, we're going to start live in-person minyan services from the sanctuary. Those will not be streamed. You do need to sign a waiver, but you do not need to sign up in advance for that. The more explanation will come this week. Monday minyans will continue to be Zoom only. Thursday, live only. Next Friday, we'll be in the courtyard. Same procedures as always. You do have to sign up. Next Saturday, we will be in the sanctuary, up to 50 people. You do need to sign up for that as well. You need a waiver and a sign up. Again, all this will be explained via email, but minyan, don't have to sign up. Saturday morning, you do. And the other thing I need to point out, and again, I'll clarify this in the email too, we do not have Saturday morning services every week open to the general congregation, because for the B'nai Mitzvah, although as much as these things are communal events to me, they're not meant to be private services, we have to give them the courtesy of getting all the spots. So they're going to take them. So if there's a bar bat mitzvah, no in-person Saturday services. If there isn't, yes, in-person Saturday services, only up to 50 people. I think we'll be okay. I mean, we'll see. Opening day, maybe not. all the baseball stadiums sold out by the next night. 3,000 people, even at Oracle Park. Let's see, what else do we have? I mean, those are the main things that I think I need to tell you about that's going on. A big thank you to the Yom HaShoah Committee. Judy Bloomfield from the committee is here tonight for a beautiful program along with Sinai Beth Jacob, as well as the Yom HaZikaron Yom HaAtzmaut Israel Independence Day and Memorial Day, led by Liza Somach-Graevsky, for another beautiful virtual program. All right, and I'm going to close with an Israeli song, Yerushalayim Shel Zahav, the Hebrew chorus English version, in honor of Israel's Independence Day this past week. I also, you've noticed, David Rosenthal is here today, noticed last week, he was the first person who actually said something to me about this, and he had got it exactly right. When I finished these services during the pandemic, I've been saying, let's be safe and careful out there, which is really just a riff on the line, let's be careful out there, said by Sergeant Phil Esterhaus on my favorite police show ever, Hill Street Blues. Quite a show, I mean, really profound. Tonight there will be police in the streets and there will be protests in the streets. And when Sergeant Esterhaus said that, again, it's all fiction, right? It's a TV show, I know. But you could feel like how much he cared about the police and the community that he was serving. And it was about, trying to be careful. When he died suddenly, the actor, and they replaced him with Sergeant Yablonsky, you may remember this. I remember it so vividly. He used to say, let's do it to them before they do it to us. And a couple of the police officers complained, that is not the way we want to behave or see ourselves as police officers. And so he actually stopped that. And they had this same kind of tension back in the 80s that they were talking about, which we will see some of likely tonight in our own community. But when I'm saying it at the end of services, I'm really talking about COVID, of course, for the most part, and I will continue to say it as long as the pandemic goes. But anyone who caught the Hill Street Blues references, as David did, it was absolutely meant to be there. Raise your hand if you're here tonight. How many of you watched Hill Street Blues, like in its heyday? How many of you leave your hand up? How many of you remembered Esterhaus saying that? Right? Okay, so, all right, pretty good. Okay. All right. Exactly. We have no life. Yeah. Back then, Thursday night TV was, was appointment TV. It was must-watch TV. It was The Cosby Show. It was Family Ties. It was Night Court, and there's one more. But anyway, Cheers. Okay. So our closing song today will be the theme from Cheers. No, it will not. Which I may have done in a service before. You may. All right. Anyway, I got to get the other book out. For those of you who are guests either tonight or online, this is just how we do things here. This is basically this is a family in our community. We're informal on a lot of things. So we're talking about TV shows or pop music or, serious things like life and death. That's just what we do. It's like an extended living room here in the chapel, in the sanctuary, in the courtyard. I need the words for this one, so the olive trees that stand in silence upon the hills of time, to hear the voices of the city as bells of evening chime. The shofar sounding from the temple to call the world to prayer. The shepherd pauses in the valley and peace is everywhere. Yerushalayim shel zahav v'shel nechoshet v'shel or alo lecho shiraich ani kinor. Yerushalayim shel zahav v'shel nechoshet v'shel or alo lecho shiraich ani kinor. the waterfall for those who thirsted, the ancient market square, your golden sun that lights the future for people everywhere. How many songs, how many stories the stony hills recall. Around her heart my city carries alone the ancient wall. Yerushalayim shel zahav, shel nechoshet v'shel or, halo lecho shirayich ani kinor. Yerushalayim shel zahav, shel nechoshet v'shel or, halo lecho shirayich ani kinor. And far away beyond the desert, 1,000 suns will glow. We shall be going to the Jordan by way of Jericho. My simple voice cannot acclaim thee, too weak the words I choose. Jerusalem, if I forget thee, may my right hand its cunning lose. Yerushalayim shel zahav, v'shel nechoshet v'shel or, halo lecho shirayich ani kinor. Yerushalayim shel zahav, v'shel nechoshet v'shel or, halo lecho shirayich ani kinor, kinor. Shabbat shalom, and let's be safe and careful out there.